Welcome everybody to another episode of the People's Real Estate Podcast. How are you, Mr. Edgar?
Good, man. Thank you. Thank you for the invite, man. I was in the neighborhood and I said, well, let me come and see your boys.
Hey, literally, man.
Yeah, he dropped by, unexpected. We didn't know he was coming by, but we said, hey, let's film an episode. Let's give the people information behind the scenes of what it is to be a home inspector, what their job really is, right? All right, so Mr. Edgar, just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background and your experience as a home inspector.
Hey, I appreciate that. Good morning.
Good morning,
you guys. I love working with your team. Renee, you guys young professionals, and I love working with you guys.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate
very
it.
Very good realtors. My name is Edgar Moreno. I grew up here in Tacoma Park. I went to Tacoma Park Junior High, Tacoma Park Elementary, Blair High School, and then University of Maryland. I'm an structural engineer by trade.
Okay.
And I became a home inspector about 25 years ago.
Okay.
So I got
25
experience.
years.
You do have, sir.
It's safe to say you know a little bit.
I know a little bit. Yeah, I'm still learning.
That's good. Yeah.
Hey, that's awesome because Edgar and I were just talking about how I also from the area. And I went to elementary school, middle school, and high school here, and he was, hey, same trajectory for me, right? And I just think that adds a little, in what we do in our profession, it just adds a little extra oomph of like maybe knowledge and experience when it comes to doing our job. So I think a little bonus. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. A realtor will say, I guess location.
Yeah.
We inspectors say, condition. But since we're from the area, I know my homes. I know the houses. I know what's been built. What's is building right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do have the little experience.
Okay. So what kind of got you into being a home inspector?
I think I got my house inspected, and it was just a disaster.
Were you already a structural engineer when you bought the house?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And then you saw how this guy
And then I
inspected
say,
the house for you?
I could do this. Because he just left me with a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. You guys are selling the house, and I'm inspecting it.
Yeah.
So we make a good team.
Yeah.
We make a really good team because we're putting our names in the line. You see in the house, you're not going to let anyone just buy any house.
Yeah.
That's why you guys call me, and I will know the condition. My report, they're probably about 60 pages, and with a lot of pictures, and pretty much, everything to me is a worry, from the structure, the roof, the plumbing, electrical. So I can go on and on and on.
All the major systems and stuff.
Yeah. So, I take a lot of pictures and I explain things, how to maintain the house. I'll explain to you how, the condition of the house and the year of the appliances and the roof and all of that.
We had Edgar helped us with this one client, and I remember, we were talking about it afterwards, and it was just her reaction when she saw some spiders in the basement, and she was like, "Oh, spiders!" and stuff. Edgar was like, "That's a good sign." He was like, "That's a good sign because they usually don't like moisture." Is that what it is?
Yeah. Spiders. I love to see spider webs. In fact, when I see the basement with a lot of spider webs, and not clean and not painted, that's a good sign because that means the spiders, they don't like nothing that is wet or moist. So, that's good to me.
Yeah.
So again, don't go and look at the house because it's nice and clean.
Yeah.
Sometimes a nice clean house could be a lot of problems.
Yeah, there's a reason maybe it's really nice and clean, right?
Yeah, this just goes to show that home inspectors look at properties. They look at it
differently.
They look at it from a different perspective than what we look at it, than what the homeowner looks like. That's why it's always good to. And these are things that you wouldn't really know unless you actually ask
a home inspector.
Like, how do you look at things? Like, which is good.
But you see what I'm saying, though? The lady was looking at it like, oh, there's bugs. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, but these are the right kind of bugs. You know what I mean? So
but let me tell you why.
That's just awesome. And she walked away like, oh, okay. Just flipped her mentality now on how she's viewing this house. You see what I'm saying? So I just think that's awesome.
Yeah, that's why I like your team because you guys know your stuff, and it's always continue education.
Oh yeah,
is the best, and and you hire young guys. I'm really proud of you guys. You guys know I don't know nothing about when it comes to real estate. I don't know anything. So if I have any questions, I will ask you guys.
Yeah.
No, but I'm completely 100% in the home inspection.
Yeah,
I'm not a deal breaker, but then again, we got to take the customer like we're going to live there.
That's interesting. He says, I'm not a deal breaker. I mean, so what we do, Edgar, is we try to give people the raw, like, you know, the raw information, the ins and outs, the real behind the scenes, like Carlos was saying. So when you say you're not a deal breaker, can you like amplify and expound a little bit on that?
Don't get me in trouble.
No, okay.
No. Okay,
Go ahead.
And it's, you know, a deal breaker, that means that the customer will know.
Yeah.
By the time I leave, they'll know what they're buying.
Yeah.
You know, and again, you know, we got to be for real. I mean, you
That's
know,
it.
some customers, the first thing they say, "Oh, look, you know, this kitchen looks terrible, it's dirty," you know, and it's like, you know, again, when it comes to the deal breaker, I say, "Hey, everything is working fine. The appliances, good water pressure, the electrical, you know, that's what I'm looking for."
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes it just needs that personal touch.
Just a little bit of TLC, a little bit of love. You know, that's all it needs sometimes, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
and like Edgar says, sometimes you know, it's a tandem, right? Like at one of the, you know, craziest things. And when I first heard it, I'll be honest with you, Edgar. When I first, like, you know, this is years ago, but when I first heard it, it kind of took me back a bit. Un choque, ¿verdad? Porque le dice, he tells the people, hey, you know, I work with Renee, but I don't work for Renee. He's like, you know, I work for you. You're my client, right? I'm like, oh, like, I was like, oh man, like, you know, one of the first times, and it kind of took me back. I'm like, no, that's my client. But then, you know, with experience, I learned, no, he's saying that's the absolute truth. Like, you know, even though we might work as a team, we don't work in, like, how can I put it, for benefit or profit in each other or somehow. We don't, you know what I mean?
Renee, I tell you, you're pretty sharp.
Yeah.
You know, and right to the point. You know, don't forget. You know, we both work for the buyer.
Exactly.
Okay, but I don't work. You know, you didn't bring me in on your behalf.
Exactly.
And that's when the deal breaker comes in. You know, I'm going to tell them what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And the last thing I want, you as Asians, the last thing I want, you guys problems because of me.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's why I respect a good realtor, a good professional, a good lender. And I'm sure you know, we got to have a team.
It's a team.
Lender, title company, realtor, inspector. We don't want any problems.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing, life is so smooth. We already got problems with the family and friends, you know?
Yeah.
So the last thing we want is where we work. We want to make everything. And the first thing I tell Carlos, you know, and you've been with me, I say, look, I don't work for Carlos. I'm going to be working for you.
Yeah.
You know, and then I just kind of stop sometimes because it's like you could misunderstood. What
Yeah,
I say.
yeah.
We both work for you.
Yeah.
But if there's any problems in the future, I don't want you to call Carlos. Call me.
Yeah.
Because he does not know anything or much about home inspections.
Yeah.
Let me be responsible for that.
Yeah.
I have insurance. A lot of people say, well, do you have insurance? You know, and the new homes, and I'm sorry, they just...
No, go ahead. That's what we have you here for.
On new
You're the
homes,
star here.
I get called for new homes.
Okay.
And sometimes they don't do that. And I have more problems with new homes than old houses. You know?
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Sometimes like buying a new construction gives you way more problems than buying.
You just got to be on it, man. You got to have a good home inspector, and you got to have a realtor that has experience in that because, there's pitfalls.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So just getting back with what I'm saying is, you know, I got to tell my customers, you know, on new homes I have more problems, and the bottom line is we want to be sure they don't come in to any headaches or problems.
With that being said, let me ask you, right? Can you share some of the things that you've seen, some memorable things that you've seen in these when you do inspections, like in new constructions, that like some of the common issues that you've run across?
On new construction, especially, is a good idea. They do a pre-dry wall inspection.
Okay.
Because don't forget, before they put the drywall, you'll see all these cables, and you know what the studs are. The studs should be every 16 inches. And, you know, once they put the drywall, you won't know any better.
Yeah. You don't know what's back there.
When I go there, you know, it will be 18, maybe 20. Can you imagine how much wood they're saving?
Yeah.
So, and also when they run the wiring, the electrical wiring, you know, they have to put this plates, steel plates. You know, I can go on another.
Yeah.
When I meet you guys, but I'm telling you, man, they're so cheap. Back in the day, especially where we at right now, these houses back in the day it took 3 to 4 years to build.
Wow.
Okay, just remember that 3 and 4 years.
You're
now $1 million home, $1 million home is 3 months.
You're saying you meant like the Rambler we're in now?
Yes.
Like these brick Ramblers from like the 50s
Oh.
and here in Silver Spring and stuff?
Yes.
50s, 60s?
Anything 40s, 50s, 60s, well built.
Well built, man.
Solid.
Yeah.
I mean, I love these houses.
Yeah.
You know, Me, it's like looking at something beautiful. I get excited. I really get excited because I'm a structure minded.
Yeah.
How long is this going to last? And you actually, we're inside this house and I can't hear anything outside.
Solid brick, man.
Right. So you go into new houses, it's just nothing but drywall.
Thin walls.
And I got to tell you this real quick, funny story. You know where King Farms?
Yeah.
Those townhouses?
I remember when it was farm there. That was all farmland. Yeah.
King's Farms, all that. There.
Yeah.
My dad used to take me to get corn. And,
I hear you. They had the hay over there. And
anyway, those townhouses, they're $1 million townhouses.
Yeah.
And when they first built the first 15 houses, there were break-ins.
Yeah.
There were break-ins on those houses, and they couldn't believe where were they coming from. So they got the police, they got cameras. It went on for about 3-4 months.
Okay.
So the police had cameras in the back, the police had cameras in the front, and people were still breaking in. Later on, they found out they were going from the attic to attic. Since it's just cheap drywall, the division, they were just kicking it in.
Wow.
So can you imagine how cheap they are built?
Wait, how did it get up all the way up to the attic?
Well, because, and let's say somebody bought a house, they got to the attic, and then if they wanted to go to the next house, they just needed to kick their drywall.
Because the
townhouses.
townhouses.
Right, but I'm saying like, so somebody just broke into a house.
Maybe someone just snuck in there. Who knows?
Went all the way up to the
empty
attic.
House, an empty house.
They were
Empty
building
house.
them. They were building them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they were occupied. I was like, so somebody's breaking in and going from house to house to house.
And they
Like,
could do that now because it's just the division house to house is just drywall.
that's insane.
Nowadays, go to a townhouse downtown Silver Spring. There's the old townhouses. It's all brick or cinder block all the way up. There's no way you can hear or break into the neighbor. So that's why it's a good idea. I mean, don't forget, you are a realtor and your customer, they're spending at least $200,000-$300,000.
Yeah.
So it's a really good idea to have that home inspected.
Yeah.
And I'm really serious about my job.
So speaking on that, right? So can you explain a little bit about like the typical process of that you follow during a home inspection? Like, do you have like what's your routine? What is the process of a home inspection?
Perfect question. I usually start in the outside.
Okay.
And I can tell you before I go in, I will tell you that basement is leaking or that basement is going to be moist.
Just looking at the outside.
Just looking at the outside. So I tell my customers, stay away from mulch.
Okay.
And you've heard me saying that.
Yeah, I've heard you say that. Yeah.
Mulch around the house retains water and it brings termites. Can you imagine when it rains, the water should go away from the house, not down. So I will explain it to you. And excellent question, Carlos. First of all, I love working with you, and I didn't know you could interview this good.
Thank you.
But it's very important. When the customer's with me, I just take over. You as the agents, I even tell my customers, I love you guys, but we don't need you here.
Yeah, I mean, it's fact.
Because that's the time that, I'm going to show them everything.
Yeah.
Because I tell you one thing, by the time we go to settlement, they could be there for years and years. They will never call you about any problems with the inspection or the way you guys did the transaction.
Yeah.
Right.
So again, just to answer your question, yes, I show them outside what to do. So rainwater will not go in the house or have moisture in the basement or have any termites. And then we start in the kitchen and blah, blah, blah. And like I said, man, my report could have between 60 to 100 pages.
Depending on the size of the home and
what he finds.
What he finds.
Yeah. I just did a building of 12 units yesterday. It was like 250 pages.
Wow.
That's why I took off today.
I got you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, so getting back, I wanted to just touch on what Edgar said about the deal breaker. See, I think it comes down to transparency, right? So what we pride ourselves with Edgar is just transparency. Like, okay, we see the problem. Like, it's not the idea is let's hide it and let them know there it is, because at the end of the day, that's my job. So my job now is to ask the buyer, okay, how do we overcome this, right? How do you want to do it? Do you just not want to deal with the house anymore? Is it something that maybe I don't know, your brother is in that line of work and it's going to be really easy for you, so maybe you just want some money so now you can take care of the problem, right? no, I want the problem fixed before I move in. So okay, we got to ask the seller to fix it, right? So it's like you said, it's like a team effort. And
Yes.
in real estate, the problem is sometimes people aren't they don't have that experience in real estate, and people want clear cut answers. And sometimes in real estate, it's just difficult to give a clear cut answer for a situation. You know what I mean?
And realtor in the business, just saying the wrong word is in trouble.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ever do an appraisal, you guys are young. I'm telling you guys got nothing but to learn. But let's say you have an appraisal, and he came and he goes, "Well, there's mold in the basement." So everybody goes panicking. Can you imagine the appraisal? So be sure he's not a mold expert. Okay, he's not appraiser. Okay, a realtor could not tell you, "Hey, there's mold in the basement." And sometimes an inspector should not say. So remember the words. You got to be careful what you say. If you see mold, you always say appears. But remember that word, appears.
Yeah, because we're not mold experts.
Right.
Yeah.
So if the appraiser comes and say, "Hey, there's mold in the basement," you can actually get them in trouble.
Yeah, because if they take you to court, you're like, oh,
And
but he
that's
said
a deal, bro. And that's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Because you use a stupid word that is mold or termites.
Yeah.
So you got to be professional. Every time you see something, it says, "Well, it appears."
Yeah.
So be careful.
We're taught not to speak on things that we are not experts on.
Yeah,
things
that's basically it. I refer out.
Stick
That's what
to what you know. It's what you know. What I've learned and when I went through my courses and I learned that like you don't speak on things you don't know.
Yeah.
It's always like you said, right? If you are, it's like either recommend a professional or say, hey, this is not my area of expertise, but I can connect you or I can get you somebody that knows, about this.
To be honest, you'll be doing everybody a favor because you'll get, I can answer this question, but let me get my inspector.
Yeah,
I can answer.
exactly.
Let me get my realtor. Let me get my boss.
Yeah, Edgar knows. I call him up, Edgar. They have a question. I'm not gonna answer it.
And Renette has called me. I tell you,
Yeah.
Hey Edgar, blah 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 blah. Because hey Renette, take care of do this, blah. And we have helped each other. Sometimes I don't know about a contract.
Yeah.
I will
The ins and outs of a contract, and that's what I'm saying. That's what you need see. So what we want the audience, I guess, the public to get out of this is, first of all, who you deal with matters, right? And then number two, when you're buying a house, there are trigger words like mold and there's dirty words and stuff like that, termite. So it's like, so what we're saying is, hopefully you're working with someone that's transparent, is gonna let you know about these things, but that's not the end of the world, right? Let's see what the remedy is, right?
Yeah.
Before we like the house, right? And now you're afraid because you heard the M word or something. Well, let's figure that out, right? Let's not just discard the home.
And you as a
bring some
buyer,
experts in, right?
you as a buyer, if somebody says there's mold, you can use that
It's leverage.
against who's selling it.
Yeah.
Because to be honest with you, I'm a mold expert.
Yeah.
I've been doing mold for remediations and
Okay.
inspections.
So you're certified for that and stuff.
Yes,
Okay.
I do mold, radon, termites. So I got few certifications.
Yeah.
But at least I can tell you guys. But if you guys see mold, use it against for your client.
Tool for negotiation.
Yeah.
And I tell you one thing, it's just simple. A lot of people think mold, okay, you see a piece of mold, to remediate, it could cost you $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. But if you think about it, you don't actually remediate. You just cut it, throw it away.
I see what you're saying.
How much did it cost you? $10, $20?
Got you. That's how they remediate it. Depending on what it is, right?
Exactly.
The situation. Yeah.
There's ways that you can go about. There's ways that you can fix, you can treat. It depends. But I'm just telling you, if you don't know, it could cost you thousands of dollars.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so there you go. There you go.
That's awesome. So I know that. So in my experience, right, what is I want to ask you, what advice would you give first-time home buyers who are unfamiliar with the inspection process? Because dealing with first-time home buyers, especially when they get to this, we got to get through an inspection, they get worried, what happens? And this will fall kind of on us too. We already know how to answer this, but what's some advice that you would give first-time home buyers when it comes to the inspection process?
Thank you for the question. I've been doing this so long, and I've been asked that question years and years and many times. So I just decided, this is simple. I'm going to do, And I'm going to tell my customer, even though they're first-time buyers or they've been buying 20, 30, I'm just going to do it like it's my house.
Okay.
And do that.
Yeah.
And you tell your customer, again, I'm not trying to, I'm just recommending,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to tell you what to do. But I say, you know something, I'm gonna deal with, personally with you, it's like, I'm buying that house.
Right.
Done deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if that's that's a standard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you didn't want that, or you would like to be told that, then maybe you should tell them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You will answer a lot of
realtor.
questions just by telling them that. I mean, that's the approach I would take.
Yeah.
You know, because they're scared.
Yeah.
You know, they're putting a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I will tell them straight out, you know, first of all, you're in good hands with your realtor, you're in good hands with me.
Yeah.
And this is the time I'm going to be here. You'll never see me like, I got to go.
Yeah. No,
I'm
that
there.
yeah.
If it's going to take me 3, 4, 5 hours, I'm there for your customer,
Yeah.
for the buyers. And that's the way we got to treat. We got to be so patient.
Yeah, I mean, Edgar actually, when people ask questions, so sometimes you work with different inspectors for different reasons, right? And I've seen other inspectors where,
You're not cheating on me, are you?
well, I mean, we'll talk about it later.
Okay. Occasionally.
So, and that's, how it is. Sometimes I have to bring my own inspector or what. I'm like, okay, sure, bring your own inspector. You have to, whatever you got to do. But, you threw me off course. Get back to me.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
I would
So,
like to touch
go
on a
ahead.
point
Yeah.
with the first-time home buyers and the transparency.
Yeah.
Very
I was
important.
hold on. I was waiting for Edwin to jump in. I
Yeah,
was
there we
like-
go, bro. He picked a good moment.
Yeah, I was waiting.
Renee
a lot
messed
of
up.
big
I'll jump
voices.
in.
No, bro, go ahead.
Go ahead, bro.
A lot of big voices. I didn't want to.
Nah, go ahead, bro. That's what you're here.
But yeah, like I said, like what you do and the way you handle your business is very important because the first-time home buyers and experienced buyers already have some
A lot of
sort
experience.
of some sort of idea of what walking into a home is going to look like, and us being upfront, telling them, hey, this is this not the end of the world. We could do this. It's
Yeah.
very important in this business.
Yeah, because I'll keep going with what you're saying. When you go through do an inspection, right? Like you said, you come up with this report, and I've heard it from first time home buyers. It's like, oh, this is a lot of things, like, and if that person, depending on how much knowledge they know about, like, because you put on there everything that you see, right?
But let me answer that question real quick.
Yeah.
Remember I said my report could be 60 to 100 pages.
Yeah.
But I make it so simple.
Yeah.
And tell you're right on the point. I tell my customer, don't worry about the 60 pages. Don't worry about the 100 pages.
Yeah.
It's going to confuse you.
Yeah.
You're going to look at it. I said, the only thing you need to worry is everything in red.
Yeah.
Because it'll be a summary.
Yeah.
So in the end of the report, it's going to have all the summary in red, and they're just going to so relax when they see my report.
Yeah, so that's a good way to look at it. When you get this report, right? You get the report from the home inspector. The realtor usually says, "Hey, let's review it together," and you usually review with the realtor because together with the realtor you're going to come up with a game plan on how to negotiate what the inspector found, and you always have access to the inspector if you have questions about the report, right? But now it's like, now that we have the report, it's more like, let's put together a strategy, right? Let's look at the stuff in red, right? And what's important to us, right? And what is a must. My experience as a realtor, what's the appraiser going to flag immediately, right? That the inspector already kind of mentioned, right? So when you look at that report, don't look at it, don't get scared by all the things that are wrong. Like me personally, if I'm about to spend, $300, $400, $500, $600, $7,000, like Edgar said, like, I want to know all the details, right?
Yeah.
Some things aren't necessarily, hey, this is a deal breaker or you have to fix this immediately. Some things are just maintenance over the long term of ownership, right? Like maybe recaulk the bathtub. This is maintenance stuff, but it might be on there if the caulk right there is worn out and it's really poor. An inspector might put that on there, but that's not going to stop the lender from giving you the money, right? That's not going to stop the seller from selling it. It shouldn't stop you from buying it, because it's something that's maintenance, for the home across a span of home ownership, right? It's not immediate.
It's a funny world. I did an inspection. I've been doing inspection for this guy. He cannot win the contract. I done 5 inspections for him this past 2 weeks. And this is in Bethesda, Maryland.
Oh, that's a loyal client right there.
Listen to this, 1.5 million home. You have to see it, Carlos. Excuse my language. It looks like it's a piece of, but it's location.
Location.
Everybody wants that house. And I went through the young guy. young couple, they're pre-approved for $2 million.
Okay, so they're there. They're money. They're good.
Right. So I'm ready to say, look, don't buy this house. Don't buy this house. It's not my job.
Nah, yeah.
So, I'm telling you, the AC system, the electrical system, the roof, this house, $1.3 million, it needed everything.
Everything.
But they wanted it.
Yeah.
They wanted the house. And
Are
guess what?
these first time home buyers?
Yeah.
Oh,
And guess what? Because they got the money, we can fix this, we can fix that.
I mean, if they could fix it, put the money in, that'd be worth more.
That's what
but
I'm saying. It's a crazy world.
Yeah.
And then here I see a house, beautiful, nothing to do, but probably location. This is in Silver Spring, towards Wheaton. It's like beautiful house.
Yeah.
That's going for $700,000.
Okay.
Nothing to do. But some people, they want Bethesda.
Yeah, location.
One
Yeah.
Chevy Chase. So I'm telling you, Carlos, I done 5 houses, and my inspections are not cheap. They're not cheap, and they're not expensive.
Yeah.
I'm like in the middle.
Reason.
they're
But,
reasonable.
this houses, man, it was like $700 each. I done 5. So I finally did the last house. It was a smaller house, and I said, look, I'm not going to charge.
What? Oh,
It was just
man.
because don't forget, young couple, and and then finally that.
Hey, good for you.
Yeah.
Those people, they'll never forget that, man.
But the bottom line is, I'm just telling you, it's location, condition. But we're there. We're there for the customer, and like you said, first time buyers, I'm going to tell them everything.
Yeah.
And I say, something, no big deal. This is good. This is fine.
Yeah.
And then don't forget, tell all your customers, especially you guys, you as a young realtor, call me. If you know anything about a heat pump or furnace or amps or asbestos, call me.
Edgar, but do you understand that everyone, and that's what the point I got derailed earlier. Do you understand that every inspector operates like that or does business like that? They some inspectors, to me, is just like a service call. It's like, hey, I did the job, man, and it's over. Like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And that's kind of what I was gonna say earlier, where like another point you made there is the way you look at it is, hey, man, I wanted to tell them how I feel about the house, because you did say it's kind of like me buying it, right? That's kind of how I see it. But at the same time, man, when you see someone and they're in love, it's like if your boy tells you, this is my girl, you're like, you gotta support, so when he says, I wanted to tell him maybe not that one, but he says, but I can't because that's not my job. I was like, excellent, right? Because that's the way I see it. This is why I tell you with realtors too. Realtors, it's like they take ownership of the deal. I mean, I get it. You make friendships, you're looking out for the person.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not your decision. It's not your decision. You know what I mean?
You don't have to tell them everything, because everything is. You know what your job is? To put everything in paper.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
To
don't
present
scare-
everything.
don't-
Be transparent.
Present everything to them
and
then,
paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be
Because
thorough,
they can come
walk it
back.
through, and
Yeah.
then, let them pick out the options, what they want to do.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And let's say you have a customer who says, I don't want a home inspection. Your job is to say, something, I got somebody really good, or can you sign here that you did not want a home inspection?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they're
That's
going to
it.
come back and says, something, how come you didn't tell me about a home
Yes.
inspection? Right. People are beautiful. They're funny. They're special.
Yes.
And you have to be ready for all of that.
What I tell you, Carlito.
Don't get upset. Don't get mad. Because we're in the business. If you're
That's
gonna
it.
deal with people, my father came to a point. He goes, he went back to the farm. He goes, I deal better with than animals when the people.
The people,
But
they're
we're
special.
in a different.
We are
business.
special. We are
Yeah.
special.
Yeah. Now, don't become a real estate agent if you're not prepared, if you're not equipped to deal with different types of personalities,
Yeah.
And
different
that's
types
the
of
most
people.
beautiful part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I love about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to become, and you're pretty good, Rene.
Yeah.
You're so smooth.
I appreciate it, man.
You're very respected
It's-
in my office.
Yeah.
And,
Thank you, man.
And whoever comes to work for you, it becomes respected. But don't leave. Stay for a while with Rene.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that, brother. Appreciate
That's why
that.
I'm still here.
Yeah, we just try to, it's just, it comes down, like I was telling you, everybody does business differently. So it comes down to philosophy, you know what I mean? And that's, to get back to the point, when we're walking the house and people ask Edgar, hey, how about this? Or maybe he's at the sink, right? And you know how it is, the buyers, they wander the house sometimes.
They'll bring their father, their
They'll
mother,
bring their father.
the experts.
¿Y esto qué es?
Oh,
¿Y esto?
my goodness.
And Edgar has bro, he's a saint, bro. Like, he has the patience to go, okay, you know what? Let me stop my inspection. Let me go answer these questions, right? And I'm like, man, that's like attention to detail. It just makes them feel, like he's got their back, bro. You know what I mean? Because I've seen other inspectors like, hey, no questions right now. You know what I mean? No questions. I'll answer all questions. Everything will be answered in the report and stuff like that. And then, people, most of them, sometimes first-time homebuyers are like, oh, okay, hands off. Like, that's how he does his job. No, it's like, I feel that person's there to answer. You're at the house. Like, what better place to answer
not just the
questions?
realtors.
You know what I mean?
In every business.
Yeah.
You got to have time to explain to the customer, regardless.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying the home inspectors. They're inspecting the home, right? Because you guys are doing your job. You have to focus, right? And then you got people, and then so I'm saying most people operate, or some inspectors I see operate on, hey, no questions right now. Let me carry out my report. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but man, it's like you're right there. They're like, hey, what's this? You know what I mean? Like,
it's being able to gauge, right, what type of people you're dealing with, because some people are kind of like, they're observative, but they're not gonna say nothing to you until they feel it's the right time. But then there's people that just like, they see a little thing and they gotta ask you, like, hey, what is that? What is this? And then then it comes down to the home inspector and how they deal with things. If they're patient and they understand, like, hey, this is a first time home buyer. This is common, I know. But if it's like, it's just being able to understand what type of people you're dealing with.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that.
And I've always thought of our job as like we're helping children cross the bridge. The children are unsure, taking a step. They like, what's this? What's that? And it's our job to make them feel as comfortable to make the decisions that they're
exactly.
Facts, man.
Exactly.
Facts.
So I know you were short on time. Are you still good?
Yeah, we can go another 5 minutes.
Yeah. So just to close it off, right, or just to get closer to it, what are some tips, some things you can give homeowners to maintain their house, right? To upkeep, right? Just share something.
For example, the mulch that I was saying, so they won't get any water or termites. Inside, it's good to have a good humidifier, dehumidifier. It's just a lot of things. Be sure you have a carbon monoxide detector, for example. There's a lot of, for every little thing. But maybe next time when I come in, we can talk about probably the dangerous materials like lead, asbestos. We can talk about radon. There's, especially on the houses that were built in the 50s and 60s, there's a lot of problems that a lot of people don't know.
Because of the materials they were using back then.
Asbestos. Asbestos is usually in the floor, and you also have lead. You have FRT on. I can go on.
I hear you.
But maybe we can make a good subject next time I'm here. All the not the illegal but the dangerous
things to look out for. Materials to look out for.
Poison materials that they build. There's so much to talk about, but I appreciate you guys inviting me.
Yeah.
No, we appreciate
you coming, man.
Yeah, and like I said, and you asked me, Carlos, what's the most important? Everything to me is important.
That's good.
You're talking about electrical. You're talking about. Don't forget, you start building and remodeling and putting all these microwaves and all the systems, and we don't know if they are power. You have enough voltage and amperage, and you can actually have a fire because here you are, you're using all this computers.
You're overloading it.
You're overloading it, and it could be a fire.
That's a good topic, right there.
Yeah, that's good. There's so many things that we can go deep on, but we're gonna save that. We're just giving people a little bit of taste of what we got next for you next time you come in. So just to close it off, anything you guys want to end on? Anything you guys want to say?
Mr. Edwin?
Nothing.
I think this was a great way to introduce. I'm sorry, I forgot your
Edgar.
name. Introduce Edgar and get a feel for what he does and the importance of what he does and the way he does it. It really backs off the way we like to do business.
Y habla español también por si lo quieren contactar.
Yeah, para la gente si no sabe, Mr. Edgar habla español.
Señor Edgar,
You should have known with my accent. I grew up here. I came when I was 7 years old, and I still got that accent, because I also speak Portuguese.
Oh, okay.
Portuguese, Spanish, English, and I get confused sometimes.
Okay.
Fluently? Portuguese fluently?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Vaya, para los que no sabían.
Yeah.
Pero señor Edgar, pero usted descendencia ecuatoriana, ¿verdad?
Ecuatoriano.
Ah, ok. Ecuatoriano. Vaya, están para los amigos ecuatorianos, suramericanos. Ahí tienen un inspector que les puede atender en español también. No solo me entienden en inglés. Les puede atender en español con esa experiencia de más de 20 años, señor Edgar. Sí. Vamos a etiquearlo, vamos a poner cómo las personas lo pueden encontrar también al señor Edgar, porque la compañía se llama...
Home Trust.
Home Trust.
La compañía se llama Home Trust. Mi teléfono es 240.
Right there. Look at the camera and say it right there.
Mi
Like a
teléfono
commercial.
es 240-876-0547. Es buena idea. Ustedes están invirtiendo mucho dinero en una casa. Dejen yo como inspector ayudarles porque para mí todo es una preocupación. Y con este equipo de René queremos que ustedes todo vaya tranquilo y tener el sueño de la casa de sus sueños.
Excelente.
Of course.
Excelente.
Let's
There we go, buddy.
That's perfect. All right. Well, on that note, anything else you guys want to leave on? We're
Nah,
good.
man, just thank you, Mr. Edgar,
Yeah.
for coming by.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
We appreciate. We got it. Look, this one, if it seemed rushed, it was because it was.
This was unexpected, and we're just going by his time, and it came out perfect.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Great information in a short amount of time,
Yeah.
and I guess that people at home are going to appreciate, because not everybody has time to listen to an hour-long podcast.
Yeah.
But
and have some questions for me next time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Maybe
man.
you can ask.
We'll ask now people
what can
some
we ask
questions.
the inspector?
There you
guys
go.
are welcome to call me anytime just
There you
for a
go.
question. I don't charge for for a
free
phone call.
consultation.
There you
There
go.
you go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There you go, man.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's it for this episode. We will see you guys in the next one. Take it
you.
easy.
Thank you.
All right, man.
All right, guys, I gotta run.
Dele. Thank you,
Man,
sir.
that was good, man. Get you a radio station.